Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and today on the program we're looking at improving business environment with particular emphasis at the taxation issue. And I've been speaking with an audit and taxation consultant and a social entrepreneur and international development expert. They're still here with me in the studio. Ola Oyinlola, he's an audit. Oyinlola. Yes, okay, Ola Oyinlola, yes, I beg your pardon. There is an audit and taxation consultant, and Yemisi Joel Osebor, she's a social entrepreneur and international development expert. So thank you for staying with me. And let's continue this conversation. Just before we went on that break, I said when we come back, we'll be looking at what administrative measures can actually help to improve tax-related doing business indicators. Now, Ola, you're an audit and taxation consultant. This is right up your alley.
Good. I mean, taking from our own experience, in Lagos State, for example, they have what we call tax complaints unit. For a proper structure, apart from the tax complaint unit, at the local government level, there must be what we call tax working committee. More or less like an advisory committee that will also work in line with the executives of the local government. Because there are two things that we're talking about here: the existence of the law, the awareness of the law, and then the second aspect is about the rates and levies that are supposed to pay the rate payers within the local government. So we need a proper structure even at the local government level. What we have at the state level, the tax complaint unit, must also be replicated at all the local government levels, not only in Lagos State, all over, in all the states of the federation. If you have the tax complaint unit, people will have issues. No doubt about it. When you ask them to pay, they will have issues, they will have complaints, but they must have somebody that they need to get in touch with at the local government level to complain, oh, I have an issue concerning these rates or levies, and somebody must be there to explain to them. Not only that, they can send mail, they can get response. So if we have a proper structure in terms of tax complaint unit, tax working committee, then what we're talking about in terms of payment of levies and taxes at the local government will be seamless. Because right now, people will now have understanding of what to pay, how much to pay at any point in time. Most of the levies that they charge, maybe it's on a yearly basis. Some of them are not even aware. So you need to let them know, you need to teach them. Then the third aspect is about the sensitization. At the local government level, they are close to the grassroots. So they are expected to do that sensitization and the awareness program all over their areas. So if that is in existence today, people know what to pay and when to pay.
Okay, so how often should this sensitization exercise be carried out? Because, you know, it's every day that somebody comes up with a business idea and starts a business and might not totally understand what is expected of him or her in terms of paying taxes.
The law also, you know, stipulates that at the local government secretariat, there must be a billboard or a banner that will show the rates that are collectible in each local government. So even if you are starting your business in any local government today, you can walk down to the local government, but that thing must be clearly displayed that you want business registration or permit at this local government is so much. So you don't even need a lot of issues or orders to cross, because when you get to the local government, you can see it and you know the exact rate to be paid. Then you can then go back and say, oh, where do I make the payment to the bank? Or they use the point of sale terminal wherever they are located to pay.
Yeah,
so,
but you see, then sorry to cut you there. You see that there's still some that complain that they have people who come to collect the same money twice or thrice. So you have so many officials who are, you know, fronting this officials from the tax office collecting the same levy and billing them extra.
That's the role of awareness. Yeah. Because you go to the marketplace, you see all sort of people representing local government. And we have explained to even some of these local government chairmen, what you need to do is to create a reflective jacket with number, and then go to the market again, put in all your strategic markets billboards showing that anybody, any revenue collector that does not wear reflective jacket with the name of the local government and a number must not be given any attention.
Ola, I can go and print a reflective jacket and wear and
because
go to the
the reason is that
and collect tax.
Is clear. But let's even start. Let that be a starting point. If you know that a revenue collector is in the market with a reflector jacket, with a number at the back, with the name of the local government, you have somebody to call. And we have also said, put the billboard even in the marketplace. So if you are not sure, the person approaches you for revenue collection, you say, okay, let me confirm from the local government. You have somebody to call at the local government. And then you can confirm whether that revenue officer is from that particular local government. And like we said, the moment ratepayers are aware of what to pay and how much to pay, the problem has been resolved. If you come for radio and TV license for any particular local government, you know the rate for retailers. And issue of development levy, constitutionally, it's only the state that is empowered to collect the development levy, not even the local government. So there are certain things that we must educate our people. We need to let them know. And who are supposed to do this even at the local government level. That's their responsibility.
Now, so based on, okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to contribute that in Nigeria, there's a problem about social contract, the governed and those that are governing. So we need to create good mechanisms, maybe we'll call it public-private dialogue, where you're able to communicate your reform action, your policy trust with people. So if a local government has lots of entrepreneurs within its locality, they should be able to identify those clusters and go there and say, hey people, this is the amount of taxes you're expected to pay. If there's a good relationship between the local government revenue collectors and those that they are collecting from, and it is clear, people will seldom use the system, because basically what happens is that where there is no information, people just use it against the system. So in some cases, I've seen experiences where people come to me and they're not from the local government. But there are sometimes that people that are committing the crime are even from the local government, because nobody is monitoring.
Exactly.
That is the issue of monitoring is something that we need to look at across all streams of the Nigerian economy. So, but if there is enough information, if there is enough redress mechanism, numbers to call, emails to write and all that, and let people ourselves responsible. Nigerians don't like to complain and we don't like to write.
Well, I'd like to differ on that, because we've had some situations where things like this happen and there's been a furore.
But how many? How many?
But so that's just it.
Yes, that's it.
We don't have a lot of people
more.
who actually come out to complain.
If more people do that, whoever is doing something that is negative will think twice, because they'll be like, oh my God, if I do it, this person's going to take me to court or raise it and all that. But we don't want to do the go all the way, and we're like, oh, that's the, I'd rather just settle this guy and allow him go. No, don't, because it's going to come back and come back and come back and come back again. And you can even be paying the wrong taxes, because sometimes what they do is they just best judgment. They just give you something big and they want you to come and negotiate and bring it down. So if you just pay, well, you just you have some more spare money to share around.
Well, maybe not that people don't complain, but we don't demand accountability. Even at the local government level, we have that right. It's our responsibility to even ask questions and tell them, okay, how much has been collected in a particular year in the local government? We need to find out. We make them accountable. And then by the time you get to the Ministry of Local Government or the Auditor General's office, and even in the state, they have the report of each local government within the state.
And they publish it.
And they publish it.
But we don't read it.
We don't read it.
It's on the website.
We don't even ask the local government chairman, in a particular year you collected IGR of so much. What have you done with the IGR? We need to ask them, what have you used the money for, the tax for service? We pay this money to local government for certain things. So what has the money been used for?
So now, based on what we've talked about, how much can be done to increase the contribution of taxation to GDP? We've talked about how some states like Lagos and Ogun State have streamlined the tax system and ensured that for Lagos, from 160 to 16 now. How much of this can be used to contribute in terms of growth of the GDP?
Let me explain something here. If you take Lagos State, for example, today, contribution of taxes to revenue in Lagos State has gone up. The reason is because we have voluntary payers. People now, because they're seeing what the state is doing with the money, people that are willing to pay on their own. I was somewhere when somebody from LRS was delivering the paper, and he said to us, people on their own, they write checks and they send it to LRS. This is for my taxes, for my levies, for my permits. Why? Because we are seeing what the state is doing with the money. What can we do? We need awareness, like I said, and then they must also demonstrate, show to people the money that we collected, we have used part of it to do this for you. The moment all these facilities are provided for the residents, they will pay. Yeah.
Another thing
people will pay on their own.
Yeah. Another thing is streamlining. Well, sorry, we've been mentioning Lagos. That's our area of locality. But they've done quite a lot. They've streamlined, You can go on the website. Systems are simpler. When you make systems simpler, it's easier for people to comply. And may I say on the other side too, nobody likes to pay taxes anywhere in the world.
No, nobody does.
Nobody does. So, if you don't create the right systems to ensure that people, I can tell you that people that pay most taxes, especially to the state, are people that are in secured employment. But how many people are in secured employment? People that are doing businesses seldom remit taxes. So we need to look inwards, because because some people just say, oh, the roads, and God help you, be a business person. I'm going to ask you, when was the last time you remitted your tax, and how much did you remit? if you're in a paid employment, I'll be like, okay, they're going to deduct it from source. So you don't have,
anyway.
you don't have a choice. But we have more business in the country. In Lagos, lots of people are not paying taxes. In Nigeria, most people are not paying taxes. But the people usually say, why should I pay? They're going to embezzle it anyway. No, it's an illegality. You do your part, then hold the government accountable to using the funds to help the country. But the government on its own side should make it clear. Like one of the things that the Lagos law did for the local government is they must issue demand notices. And on that notice, to make it easier to do business, they've said if an entrepreneur is going to pay like 4 taxes, don't issue him 4 demand notices. Issue him 1 and state all the taxes he needs to pay. State the bank, state the number he can call if he has any problem, and make sure that he gets that bill on time. So to an extent, that makes it clear.
And has it been working?
It's working.
It's been working.
That's all local governments in Lagos. But the issue is, supposed to get the demand notice and they're like, how come you're charging me 5,000 naira? So through that, you look at the numbers on the form and you call them up. So, but usually people don't like to pay, and then people have to enforce and all that. That's what really causes all the problem. And in some cases, some local government just throw caution to the wind and they just say, let me look at this company. You are big. You are painted yellow. I'm going to give you 200,000 TV and radio license. And you're wondering, where's the TV and where's the radio? And that's why sometimes people are they're edgy and they need to look for a mechanism. But tax systems needs to be free. It needs to be fair. People need to know what they need to pay, how to pay it, what to pay. And there should be mechanisms that should create avenues for mediation if there's a need for them to change.
So definitely, business environment and taxation are very
strongly
related.
Yeah, because you can't, like for example, in Nigeria, taxes drive economies. You cannot continue to rely on oil. Lagos does not have oil, but the IGR that Lagos makes from taxes is more than the revenue generation. Lagos is one of the few states in Nigeria where they can go to sleep without waiting for federal government's allocation. So every state in the country should look inwards and look at how they can help improve such systems so that people will find it easier to pay taxes, because when you don't pay taxes, there's less revenue for government to work.
Yeah, but you also mentioned the fact that this taxes is very easy because, especially for those in secured employment, because they deduct from source. And for those businesses for entrepreneurs like yourself who are not, who are just entrepreneurs, they don't deduct from source. How do you begin to ensure that those businesses do not fall foul of the law and ensure that they pay their taxes as at when due?
That's what we're talking about, the awareness, the sensitization program that must be carried out at the local government level, even at the state. That's number one. But number two, no, because people need to be aware. Number two, let me also tell you from our experience. For Lagos State, they've created, in some of the local governments, they have area offices very close to the ratepayers. So you don't even need to go to local government secretariat. You go to the area office of the local government and you can find out you have the billboard. You have it displayed there, the rates that you're supposed to pay.
Yeah, but that's not profit.
I'm still going to argue. I'm going to still take this stance. There's some people who are unfortunately dishonest and will not agree to pay this money.
Exactly.
So you can sensitize me all you want. You can educate me all you want. But if I don't want to pay those taxes, I will continue to pay.
There are penalties
there's a high level of people that are doing that.
To pay. Yes.
You said?
I said there are penalties.
Yes, but before you get to that, because let me tell you something. Lagos State is smart. Sorry, you're using Lagos.
Well, Lagos State is where we are.
Yeah. You don't pay taxes, all right, for a long time. And out of the blues, you now want to buy a land. So they go down memory lane and say, hey, have you paid your taxes? If you want to own a land in this state, then you must have been a good citizen.
And a taxpayer at least for at least 5
so
years.
They now go through your file and they now see that you have been evading. So what did they do? They make you pay for the amount you have not paid.
Yeah. They just do the assessment for the previous years.
You get harassed by LASMA. The next thing they're asking for is where's your tax ID?
Paper.
Because that's the only way. Because let me tell you something, nobody likes to pay taxes. And Lagosians don't like to pay taxes. But they like to ask for it. So the Lagos State is also creative in making sure that they are bringing people into the tax net.
Especially the entrepreneurs.
Because nobody wants to pay taxes, seriously. Is across all the world. So they have different mechanisms. But ideally, people should voluntarily go and remit taxes. But we don't have systems that makes it easy to comply.
You know what the state has also done? For the small players, the little traders, they've created what you call a minimum balance for them to pay. Even the artisans, the welders, the organizers, they've told them, because you want to make you responsible in the state, this is the token that you must pay to government.
2,500.
And they are 2,500. And they get the tax certificate for it. So what we're getting today is what we expect other states to also replicate. If you do that and you also sensitize them, you tell them this is what the money is going to be used for, you get people to pay. And then, like I said, there is what we call enforcement. That's the last part. But we don't need to talk about enforcement. But it's there for government. So anybody who says, oh, I don't want to pay, there is that option for government to explore.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. It's
Thank
been
you.
an interesting conversation. Ola Oyinlola, he's an audit and taxation consultant, and Yemisi Joel Osebor, she's a social entrepreneur and an international development expert. Thank you so much for coming on the
Thanks,
program.
Harriet.
Well, that's it on Business Morning for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we've been talking about improving business environment and looking at the taxation issue. I do hope you learned a couple of things from the conversation. But Business Morning returns tomorrow with a better package. Of course, we'll be here with you. I'm Harriet Agbeni. Top of the hour is Ms. Track.